welcome to another episode of Heat Press Nation Live. I know Jared's still not here today. He's still on paternity leave, so I'll be your host once again today. But as Jared fashioned again, he wanted to leave you guys some great content here, so he did a pre-recorded session here on the step-by-step process on how to prep your artwork for a great reproduction run. So this is going to be on specifically for Supacolor, for beginners and intermediates in mind as well. All right, so before we get started, I'm gonna let you guys join in still here. So drop a comment below. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello. Alrighty. Let's see here, who's over here? All right, we have Patricia joining in here. Dawn Dyer says she loves these lives. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you enjoy this. It's a lot of helpful information here. We always hear you guys' feedback, your emails, your calls. So we always want to try to get you guys the best info, especially when we see the same questions. We want to be able to help you guys out. Let's see, Liz from Chicago says hello. So hello to you too. Deborah Williams, hello from North Carolina. Well, hello from Fullerton. We have Gail from PA. Dawn's over here in Facebook and YouTube. There she goes. I think she's trying to get some more information on both ends here. All right, we have Pia Campbell from South Carolina as well. We have a couple from South Carolina. Donna from Massachusetts. We have some questions about if we gave out some giveaways. Let's see here. We have Lizette from Texas, Jasmine from Tampa, Donna from Arkansas. Crystal says, howdy from Texas. Howdy. Let's see here. All right, you guys ready for today's episode? A lot of great stuff. So we really want to help you guys on getting some tips and tricks or more tips on just how to perfect and enhance your graphics and your files for when you do your custom transfers through Supacolor. All right, let's see who else we have here. We have Bryn from Detroit, Michigan. Let's see. You guys are excited. I'm excited too. We have Gina from Florida, Diana from South Texas. All right. Amanda from Mississippi. Hey to you too. Welcome back. All right, let's see. Lucy from New Jersey. Let's see, you guys are from all over the states here. This is great to see. So I'm glad you guys dropped a comment below, said hello. It's good to see you guys. People do tune in from all over. All right, guys. Looks like you guys are pumped. I am pumped as well. So if you guys missed it, we are going to be covering in just a moment. Well, Jared will be covering. He pre-recorded another segment here for you, the step-by-step process, again, on how to enhance and perfect your artwork. For your artwork and your file format for Supacolor transfers. Again, we want to really focus on beginners and intermediates in mind as well. So let's get into this, guys. So I think you guys already saw there is going to be a giveaway towards the end of the episode. So make sure you stick around and I'll let you know how you can be a winner. It will be a $50 gift card to our website, heatpressnation.com. So there will not only be one winner, but there's two. So we'll be choosing again one from Facebook and one from YouTube. So again, stick around towards the end and I'll let you know how you can be a winner of the $50 gift card to our website, heatpressnation.com. Also, Labor Day is just around the corner here. So if you haven't yet, join our text club, text the word HEAT to 20198 for all the latest sales, promotion, and updates. So I think there might be a sale coming up. So if you haven't already, text right now, text the word HEAT to 20198. That way you can be the first to be notified of any sales and promotions happening. All right, and as always, the items that you see on today's video can be found at heat.press/live. You can see the Supacolor transfers in just a moment. He'll show you how to navigate through our website and get there. So heat.press/live. And as always, if you have any questions throughout this segment here, drop your questions down below. Ronnie will be sure to answer some questions. Any questions she didn't get to, if you have more questions, I'll be sure to get towards the end here. For today's segment, you won't see Jared on camera, so you'll see his computer screen. So he really wants you to get the tips, be able to get you those step-by-step tips there on how to create those transfers, again, how to enhance your image and your files. So he's going to show you from the beginning to the end when going on to heatpressnation.com, clicking that Supacolor custom tab up there, the transfers, the size, the dimension, what kind of artwork. You guys are going to see this step-by-step. He's going to add artwork, not change it up a bit, but show you how to embed some images, make the transparent background, so all the details. So you'll be seeing his screen on your screen. All right, are you guys ready? All right, I'm ready. Jared, take it away.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the artwork specifications. Now to do that, you guys saw the screen just passed here. Of course, you can click on this main banner image, or you can just go up to the top category where it says custom transfers. Click on custom transfers, and there you go. These are the different Supacolor transfers that we offer. And for this video, I'm gonna be using the Supacolor Wearable Heat Transfer. This is probably the most popular one. So I'm a big fan. This is one that I use personally, and this is what we're gonna use for our example. So I'm gonna click on it. And of course, I am gonna walk you through this form. This is all very important information that you need to be inputting correctly. But the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go over to the product description here on the left. Of course, it talks about the Supacolor transfer. Make sure you read this section about the Supagang option. If you want to put multiple items on a single sheet, be sure to use the Supagang. Otherwise, it's just going to be one image per transfer. Anyways, these are the artwork specifications. So I'm going to go through them one by one and kind of explain what they mean. So for example, this first one, free floating lines are at least 1 point or 0.3 millimeters minimum. This means that any line, and it kind of illustrates it here, but any part of your graphic, and actually let's open up, well, when I get to our graphic, I'll go ahead and show you. So anyways, so the free floating graphics have to be at least 1 point thick. And that's actually really great. That's a really fine definition. Most of the time, you're not gonna want anything thinner than that anyways. Now this next step is very important. You wanna convert your fonts to outlines or shapes. Your font library might be different than mine, and it's very likely gonna be different than Supacolor's. So if you don't convert the fonts, and if they don't have that font in their computer, it's not gonna come out right. It's gonna be converted to a basic font like Myriad or something like that. So make sure that before you send your artwork out, you're converting your fonts to outlines or shapes. And I'll show you how that works. I'm gonna show you everything, but I'm just gonna kind of talk it through first. Of course, save as a PDF. PDF is probably the most general file, so everybody can save as a PDF. If you're using pro graphic software, you should be able to save as a PDF. Some of you with the graphic arts background, you're gonna understand all of this right out of the gate. You're gonna know exactly what this means. You're not gonna have issues. But for the rest of us, I'm gonna walk us through. So I'm actually gonna open up a new graphic in Adobe Photoshop. So give me just a second. Let me get my Photoshop open here. And here we go. Now, the first things first, I'm going to show you how to download a template. Now, before we get started, going really quick, these are the instructions for heat pressing. But this is gold. This is a gold mine right here. When you click on any of these, it's going to download a zip file, meaning it's going to be one file with multiple sub files in it. So you're going to select the transfer. So for today's graphic, we're going to be using the A5 long, which is 11.7 inches wide by 4.25 inches tall. The process is going to work no matter what size you're using. But for this video, we're using the A5 long. So as soon as I click on it, you see that, how it just started my download? Bada bing, bada boom. So now there's a few different ways to do this. I'm in Windows, I think 10 or something like that. So if I just click on it, it's going to show me my different files. Of course, I want to use this one. So I'm going to double click on the Photoshop one. And okay, and this is what I love. It just automatically opens up this template. Personally, I recommend using the templates every single time. I'm a big fan of the templates. So as we go to the template, we're going to go back and forth. Actually, let me close this now. I don't need that. We're going to go back and forth. And so now we're going to go back to the description, and I'm going to kind of walk you through each part. So first, I'm going to go back here. I'm actually going to bring in my transfer. Now I'm just going to use the drag and drop method. So this is my image that we're using today. I'm going to drag it over, drop it in, and it's going to fill in, check yes, and there we go. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so we can get a better view of what exactly I'm working with today. So now the first point, make sure free floating lines are 1 point or 1 millimeter thin. A free floating line would be like this eye, for example. You see this box right here, this eye? All right, that's a free floating line, means it's not connected to anything else. Now this, and we're gonna zoom in real close here. So a thin point right here would be like the tip of you see this tip right here? I'm gonna get really close for all of you guys. This right here. This is a free floating line because it's not connected at any point. I mean, it's connected down here, but for the sake of explaining, this is a free floating line. Now, how thick is 1 millimeter? Well, we can find that out very easily. I'm gonna draw a little box, and then over here, I'm just gonna type in, what is it? It's supposed to be 0.35 millimeters or 1 point. So if I type in 1 point, that's 1 point. So now, as you can see, this part is 1 point, but this part is not. So the tip of it right here, it's not 1 point thick. That's okay because it's this part is. Now what's going to happen is if you have really pointy thin lines that are, there we go, that tip is smaller than 1 point. So what's going to happen is you could still send it to print, but this part may get rounded off. Supacolor may have to do a little bit of magic to make sure that it prints correctly. And if we're zooming in really close, I mean, if that tiny little, I'm talking about this tiny little tip here, if that doesn't get printed, so let's see, where is it 1 point? So this part right here, that's 1 point. So if your image, if that tiny little tip got slightly rounded out, I guarantee you would not notice at all. All right, so that's 1 point. Convert fonts to outlines or shapes. Now this is something, and I'm gonna hide this for a second. So if you're creating in Photoshop and you're typing, you just want it to say happy. You just want a bunch of transfers, and I'll make this bigger so we can see what I'm doing. You just want a bunch of transfers that say the word happy, right? And you have a cool font. Maybe you're using a really neat font like, I don't know, what's a cool font here? Old English text, right? You want it to say happy in Old English text. So there we go. So let's go back. Convert your fonts to outlines or shapes. This is a font. So if we look at the bottom right here, you see in my layers how happy it has a big T. This is a text layer, meaning that if I click on it, I could still change it. And if I wanted to say snappy, I could retype it. I'm not going to do that, of course. But this is a text layer. So now this font, Old English Text MT, if I send the file as is, if the other computer that receives this doesn't have this font, it's going to default to a different font. It's usually going to default to something common like Arial or whatever, but it's not going to be the font that I want. So what we do is, now this is just Photoshop, of course, depending on what graphic software you're using, there's different ways to do this, but I'm just going to right click and I'm going to rasterize type. So now this is no longer a text. I can't edit this text anymore. This is now a raster image. So it's stuck. However this is now, I can't do it. If I wanted to change it, I'd have to retype it. So that's all that means. So you don't want to have any text files in your graphic. You want them to all be rasterized. Or if we're in Illustrator, you want it converted to an outline or a shape. but you don't want any font files, any font layers on your graphic. Last one, save as PDF. So I'm going to go back to my other graphic that I do want. Right, and of course we can resize this to whatever size we want that fits within the parameters of this. I'm gonna like max it out here. So I have this, and now it's time to save it. So when we save it, save as, and it's gonna put it in the exact same place where I was. Save it wherever you want, doesn't matter. I think you can send a PSD, but you shouldn't. So we're gonna click Save as Copy. Now this is where I recommend saving it, changing the name to whatever you want. So I'm going to put Van Delay, and then you don't have to do it like this, but I usually do it Wearable A5 long. That's the code for it. WEA5. You see it right here. WEA5 long. Blah blah blah. That's usually what I do. You don't have to do that. You could just name it whatever you want. But again, that's how I keep track of my transfers. So then I'm going to save this as a where is it? A Photoshop PDF. I'm gonna hit save. Boom. Now there's a few things that I probably should do to clean up my file. If these files are hidden, they're probably not gonna print, but what I would do is just any files that you don't want, just delete them. And this is actually not yet ready. I have one more thing that we wanna do. So there's some more specifications that we're gonna go down. When you download the template, you don't have to worry about this because it's already going to come in CMYK format, color format. Don't mess with Pantone, but you can if you want to. Pantone's one of those things where if you don't know what it is, you probably don't need to worry about it. It's a whole other topic, but it's basically for color matching. Convert fonts to outlines. We just went over that. Convert strokes to objects. Let me show you what that is. And yes, this is a very detailed tutorial. So if you guys are looking for a quick one, my apologies. I'm going to give you guys the quick version though. So let's say I want this box. This box is part of my artwork. And the inside of this box is dumb green. And then the stroke of this box is black. And the stroke is like this, right? Maybe I don't even want the fill. I just want the box, right? I know you guys have probably seen this. People put their artwork inside of a box, right? So let's say I had set my artwork up like this, right? There we go. This is really ugly, but I'm just proving a point. So now this rectangle, that's just a stroke. And the stroke, it's still, I can make it as thick or as thin as I want it. But once I decide how thick I want it, I cannot send this stroke file. It has to be locked in. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to rasterize the layer. That's going to lock it in. So now I can't edit it. Just like the text, I'm locked in to the thickness of it. I can resize it, I guess, if I want to, but I don't want to. There we go. And now that's ready to go. So convert strokes to object, embed any linked images. So you see how I dragged, there we go. Sorry about that. So you see I dragged in this image. Whenever you drag in an image, it's going to link as a smart object, meaning when you double click that thumbnail, this is the original image. This is the PNG file, right? So that's a linked image. It's different in Illustrator. I'm gonna show you in Illustrator in a little bit, but basically, again, in Photoshop, rasterize layer, that's the magic key right there. So that's how that works right there. And then save as PDF. So basically you want to go through all that. These are vector art files for raster bitmap. So all those, again, but it's the same for your raster. CMYK strongly recommended, 300 to 900 DPI recommended, or send the best you have. We're going to try our best. So if you send over artwork that's not quite at the resolution, you're probably going to get an email from us saying, hey, this graphic is not the best resolution. Do you still want us to proceed and print? Again, Supacolor, they can print amazing artwork, but they just need amazing artwork. And if you have questions, you can always email us at heatpressnation.com. We'll help you out. Make sure your artwork is ready before you upload it. That's another thing. You can use a transparent background for free floating art. Now, this is a big one. Sometimes you're going to get artwork that has a white background. Now, our pals at Supacolor are really nice about, they have a special program where they can delete the background. So if you have a plain white background like this, if it's the only artwork you have, go ahead and upload it. Supacolor, they're really nice. If you absolutely must, they can go ahead and erase that white background for you. However, they don't know exactly how your artwork is supposed to look. Now, what if you were only supposed to have white on the inside of this star, for example? Maybe that's just how it looks. I don't know what your graphic looks like. Supacolor doesn't know what your graphic looks like. So maybe you meant for the inside of this colored star to have white, but you want the white removed out of the rest. For anything specific like that, you are going to want to remove the white background yourself. Otherwise, Supacolor, they're going to do their best. They're just going to assume that everything, you want all the white removed from the graphic. And so this white at the middle would also get erased as well. So it just kind of depends. It's always best to send the artwork as best as you can. So in Photoshop, you should be making sure that you have a transparent background. That's the best way to do it, is for you to take care of your artwork before you upload. We are happy to help. We're happy to preview the artwork. But it's always best to just send your artwork as good as possible. It's a good practice, especially as you grow in this industry. Maybe you're sending other jobs for other things. Maybe you're sending artwork for a sign that you want printed for your business. It's just a good practice. Now here's a good one. No fades or glows on free floating art. So now what does that mean? Let me show you. So if we zoom in really close, you see that now I've added this glow feature outside the edge of my graphic. And you can see it's semi-transparent. So I'm going to add a layer of black underneath just so you can see exactly what it looks like on a black t-shirt maybe. So you see how it has that really soft edge? So Supacolor, beautiful transfers, but this soft glowy edge here, that's going to be a no-no. That's going to be a negative. In order for the best possible transfers, we're going to need to have a hard edge on all of our graphics. So there's a few ways to do that. You can use a clipping mask to kind of cut it off, or best, just don't do it. It's still going to look good. It's still going to be a great graphic. So for free floating elements, you don't want to have any of that. Any outer glow, none of that. You just want a solid edge. Again, you can use a clipping mask, a clipping path to make sharp edges. Clipping path, you're going to want to YouTube that one, only because it would just take me a long time to show you how to do it in this video. And again, you're going to save as PDF. So just to make sure that we have the full process here, I'm going to hide that. I'm going to delete all of my extra layers that we're not using. Okay. And then I'm going to rasterize this layer. And this is actually ready to go. Now, really quick, when we go back to upload our artwork, and I'm just going to show you on this Photoshop, I will show you in Illustrator right now. So I'm going to walk you through the upload form really quick. We're going to go to the A5 along, so we're selecting our size. Is this a reorder? No, it's not. Now, what's cool about Supacolor and Heat Press Nation is we will store your artwork. So if you've already submitted something, you would click yes, and I don't have it here. So, enter reorder number. You're going to get that info after you order it. So I don't have one to put in, so we're going to skip that. So I'm just going to put no. This is new artwork. We're going to go back here, and I'm going to, now this one, real quick, before I save it, I want to make a note of how big this transfer is. It's 9.72 by 3.04. Anyways, we're going to save as. We're going to save it as a Photoshop PDF. And I'm going to call it, again, I'm adding at the end here, Wearable A5 long, just for my sake. It helps me keep track of everything. But you don't have to do that. So I'm going to save it. Sure. Okay. All good. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that's been saved. Or almost. There we go. So now choose file. We're going to go to HPN Live. Wearable A5 long. I'm going to double click that. And you see it came up there. It's going to upload once we click through this. Do I need to specify the PMS color of my design? No. Design size in inches. This is very important. So it's 9.72 by 3.04. So I'm just going to type 9.72 by 3.04? Yes. This is very important. It just helps them to make sure that it's sized properly. Sometimes we'll get graphics not on the template, and it's a huge high resolution image, which we love. We love high resolution images. But how big do you actually want it on your t-shirt? Do you want it to be the full 11.7 inches wide? Or do you want it smaller? So it's very important that you specify how large. This is the finished design. So the actual image that gets put on your t-shirt, what are those dimensions supposed to be? Sometimes it's not always apparent in the template, or if you're not using a template, it might not be apparent. So it's just really important, always a good practice to put it in there. Garment type, this is gonna help make sure we have the right amount of adhesive on the transfer. Garment color. Okay, so going back to this, remember when I was talking about minimum point size, and we were talking about this tiny little part right here. Sometimes for graphics, if they have items that are less than 1 point or too thin, what Supacolor, and they're really awesome for this, by the way, they'll put like a base of the shirt color on it to fill it out. That way it presses properly. So what they would do is, and this is not what they do, but it looks a little something like this. This is not exactly what they do. Please, sorry, Supacolor. But basically, they'll just add a little under, right? They'll add a little bit of color underneath to fill it out. That way it reaches that 1 point size. Now, on a black t-shirt, you would never notice that. So that's why they ask you what color it is. Typically, I will just put black all the time because even on a white shirt, it still looks cool. So most of my shirts are black, unless you're going to be using a specific color like red or something. But that's why they ask. In case, and again, it's just so doggone small if you really think about it. In case they do have to put in an underlayer to make sure it prints properly, that's why they ask what color it's going to be. So my default is black. Terms and services. Now, I know you really want to skip through it, but this is really important. If you go into the description, you will see the Supacolor terms and services. Highly encourage you to read those. There's a whole section right here on intellectual property. Look, if you're using other people's stuff, don't stop, please. But with Supacolor and Heat Press Nation, we get so many orders, it's impossible for us to be the copyright police. So when you click that you read the terms and services, which are right here, it's important to understand what you're agreeing to, especially when it comes to the intellectual property section. Of course, it's all very important. I highly encourage everybody to read through that. I am not a lawyer. I'm not offering legal advice, but I am telling you, don't just click this right here. Make sure you actually read through the terms. Print ready. I acknowledge I have set my artwork ready to print. See product description for more details. That means that you've done your very best to make sure that your graphics adhere to all of these things. It means that you've taken the time to convert your fonts, your free floating lines are at least 1 point, you're in the right color mode. And then really quick, since I'm mentioning color mode right here, if you're in Photoshop, if you download the template, you're automatically going to be in CMYK mode. But right here under image and mode, CMYK color. Very, very important. If you are sending in your graphics in RGB color, that's okay. No worries. Just know that Supacolor will convert it to CMYK, which for certain colors may result in a slight change in the hue. So if you want your print to look as close to the original as possible, make sure you're designing in CMYK. And lastly, honestly, we do this this is for me and my buddies in customer service. And it's just an acknowledgement. I acknowledge that any artwork submitted not meeting the requirements is subject to delays or cancellation. Look, if you send us artwork that's size, it's not on a template, it's size too big, it's too small, it doesn't meet the resolution, wrong color mode, the graphic is, you selected the wrong transfer size, blah, 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 blah. We're going to put a pause on it. We're going to reach out to you. We're going to email you. In some cases, we might give you a call. but we're going to reach out to you to try get that squared away before we send it to print. Now, it's very important because I know that sometimes you're on a time crunch. We get it. We get it. So this is just saying, hey, we are all working together here, and we want to make the best artwork possible for you. So if your artwork doesn't meet the requirements, it might be paused. So if you have questions about if your artwork is good or not, you can always give us an email. You can always put it through as well. If it's terrible, like if your resolution is just super low and it's not going to look good, we'll let you know. But if your artwork meets all of these, we're going to send it right on through. There's no proof process, meaning we're not going to email you a mock-up of how it's going to look. If your artwork meets all the requirements, we're just going to send it on through and get you your Supacolor transfers super fast. Now this price, $5.58, that's the price per transfer. The minimum quantity is 10. If I try to go down, it's going to say minimum 10 items. So of course you can just go up, order as many as you want. But let's say we're doing the minimum of 10. That's $5.58 times 10. I'm going to add this to cart, and this might be a little slow because remember, it's finally uploading that artwork. So there we go. Boom. You see here, for 10, it's going to be $58.80. If that's all good and if that's all good to go, you're going to click check out, and you can order, you can make your payments, all that stuff. So really quick, before we let you go, I'm going to show you how this looks in Adobe Illustrator. So here we go. We have the Illustrator download, and that's it. Right here. There we go. I'm going to bring it over. And I kind of already walked through everything, but I'm just going to bring this over just so you can see how it looks in Illustrator. So of course we have our Vandal Industries logo here. Big shout out to anybody who even gets that joke. Now it's going to look a little different. So you see how we have that linked file. So converting this, and again, we're kind of going back here. So you see how it says embed any linked images? That's going to be a little bit different than what we were doing in Photoshop. So you have your linked file. I have my links right here. Now, if you don't have this links tab, you're going to go over to Window, and you're just going to turn it on. If I click on it, that'll turn my links tab off, but I want it. So I'm going to open up, go to Window. There it is, links. Now I'm going to hit this little 3-line menu bar, and all I'm going to do is just click Embed Images. So now instead of linking to that separate PNG file, I've now it's not rasterizing, but I've now locked it in. So now it just says image. And that's how I know that I'm good to go. Convert fonts to outlines. That's all. This is going to be very similar, but it's just going to be a little bit different in Illustrator. Now I'm going to be the first to admit I'm not an Illustrator pro. So for literally you can just put, if you want to know what to do, copy this, right? And then in Google, you're going to paste and just put in Illustrator. And then there you go. You have all these tutorials. I would walk you through, but I'm more of a Photoshop pro, not an Illustrator pro. So you have your instructions here. I did want to show you how to embed because that one's really important. We've seen a lot of people already kind of neglect that one, all due respect. So that's what we wanted to point out now. But yeah, there we go. Now the last thing we're going to show you really quick, and this is truly the last thing. I think I said the last thing like 4 times already, is I'm going to show you how to use the transfer size as a template. Now there's no need for any bleed when you're doing this. So we're going to do a new one. And remember, the Wearable A5 long, 11.7 by 4.25. So when we're making our new image, we're going to make our width 11.7 by 4.25. I wanted at least 300 is the bare minimum resolution. But just for fun, we're going to go up to 600 because we love that high resolution stuff. Color mode, this is very important. You're going to change that to CMYK. All the other defaults should be fine. Actually, the background contents, we want that transparent background. You're going to create this file, and here we go. There's no need for bleed. Repeat, no need for bleed. 11.7 by 4.25, that's it. That's how big we want this. And so this is if you're not going to use the template. If you don't want to use a template, you want to just create your own files, whatever, that's totally cool. And then I'm just going to use a few examples. All right, let's say this was your graphic. A few steps you're going to have to take. Remember, you're going to rasterize your type. You're going to rasterize this linked layer. And then, I mean, you could flatten the image if you want. Or no, don't flatten, I'm sorry, just merge visible. Flattening it will add a white background. And this one, you're ready to go. Now, keep in mind, again, your transfer size right here. If you really want to fill it out, do whatever you want. But yeah, this is, and again, it's going to print exactly as you send it. So if I send it all stretchy like that, that's exactly how it's going to print. Now, also, we don't know exactly what you're doing. So if you only send in a print that's 4.19 by 1.52. If you meet all the artwork guidelines, it's very likely going to print at that size. So it will print whatever size you send it. That's why it's always good to as a backup to when you're placing your order. It's always good to include the design size in inches. Just for us, for you, for everybody. And that's it. So really you set up the template or your Photoshop project in the dimensions of the transfer. You fill it in with your artwork, make sure that you have the transparent background, and you're good to go. That's it. And that's everything. So I'm going to take you back to the page, to the checkout, because it's already in my cart. So at this point, the one that we already submitted, I'm ready to check out. These are printed within about 1 to 2 business days, and they are shipped. There is shipping on these, by the way, and they are shipped priority, so you get them in another 1 to 2 business days. And that's how you prepare your Supacolor artwork for submission. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us at heatpressnation.com. You can email us or give us a call at 800-215-0894. Any questions at all, put them in the comments below. We're happy to help you out. We want to help you get your best artwork uploaded so you can have the absolute best transfers on your t-shirts. All right, well, once again, this is Jared with Heat Press Nation. Thank you so much. You have a great, great day.
All right, Jared, thank you so much for breaking that down. So I know we always say it's really simple to create your images with Supacolor. Just upload, select the size and the quantity. And it is that simple, but we really wanted to break down and give you those tips on how to maximize and enhance your graphic and your file formats to really take advantage of the templates, ensure those free floating lines are at a minimum of 1 point thickness to convert your fonts into outlines and shapes. That way when Supacolor receives them, it's not auto defaulted to a different font. Make your backgrounds transparent. That way, if you do have white in your design on a free floating image, those whites can be picked up, or if it's transparent, so that way there's no guessing. And they are really great, like Jared said, and I think a couple of you mentioned too. We'll always try to reach out to you just to confirm, but sometimes when all the other parameters are met, it can be printed as so. So we really want to get you those tips. Other things, convert the strokes to an object, embed any linked images, and then at least the 300 DPI for the resolution. So a lot of great info here, a lot of great tips to really help you, again, get the best transfers by enhancing your image and then the file format. So let me know your questions below, because I know that was a lot of info, and I'm happy to get to those questions. Maybe if Ronnie didn't get to those. Let's take a look here. All right. Lovely Gem says, can't wait to get started. Let's see here. I can't remember who asked the comment, but it looks like on this one, Jared did, it was the A3 size, is that correct? It was the 4.5 inches tall by 11.7. All right, Teresa wants to know, will the video be stored someplace where we can watch the video again? So yes, it will be on our YouTube channel again for this live video. There's a lot of great information. You can pause it, stop, and kind of go side by side with that. So it will be on our YouTube channel a little bit later, but it will be on there. Let's see here. Everyone says they can't wait to try it. Danielle says, yeah, she can't wait to try it. Let's see here. All right. Michelle Straga says she missed the whole thing. So this is a recorded episode, so you'll be able to watch it again a little bit later today. Or is it later today? A little bit later on today, you'll be able to watch it. So you can pause that again from beginning to end, the step by step. So Jared really shows you again from starting at heatpressnation.com, going to the custom transfers tab, and then going through the whole process to check out. So you guys can definitely watch those. Let's see, YouTube, any questions for me here? I think Ronnie was able to get to most of the questions there. Let's see. All right, so Heather Bruce says if there is a minimum order, so there will be a minimum quantity of sheets. So the minimum is 10, so it's already set to 10. You can add more sheets though, just add the little plus sign, or you can change that to like 11, 21, 30, but the minimum will be 10 sheets. Let's see here. Alrighty, Michaela wants to know if all pricing and sizes are available to view. So it is there. So you'd have to drop down again, select which transfer you want to do. So today we showed Wearable. So there's 4 other ones. We have Wearable, Soft Shell Blocker, Promotional, and we also have, did I say Headwear and Wearable? We have those 5 there. But you choose which one, choose the size, and then once you choose the size and upload your graphic, at the bottom, it will show that price. Again, you'll have to multiply that by the 10 that's down there, but you can add more, but that's how you'll see the prices on there. And then add it to your cart, and then you can total price. Let's see here. Right, yes, the minimum for a checkout, like for an actual order, will be 10 sheets. And then if you select any other size besides the Supagang, it is just 1 graphic per upload. So unless you want to do multiple images, you'd have to select the Supagang, then you can add on a lot of different graphics that fill up that sheet there. It's a great question. Let's see here. All right, so Terry wants to know if they can be used on inkjet printers. So Supacolor transfers, they are going to be custom transfers. So what you're doing is you're uploading your image, we're sending it over to Supacolor, and they're sending it to you ready to press. So there will be no need to send it through any type of printer or cutter. Here. So Sherry wants to know, do prices change with sizes if one same sheet? So I'm not quite sure the question there, but so when you select a size, so for instance, the size that Jared did, the A3, he didn't meet the whole part of his dimension, but there's only 1 graphic. So even if it's smaller, the price is not going to change. It's going to be that set price for that size. So it's best to choose the closest size that it's available on that drop down. So again, unless you do the Supagang, that's when you can fill up that space and add on more images, more graphics. Let's see here. Alrighty, Caitlin says she hasn't ordered yet because the software was a little tricky, so they made it more simple. So I'm glad. I hope we were able to get more details and more tips. Because again, it is, when we say it's simple, just add your image, upload, put the quantity, but we really want you guys to get the best graphics, what you guys envision, what you create. We really want you guys to receive them in that way. That way it's best for you and your customers. All right, guys. You guys have a lot of great questions. So it looks like we've learned a lot here. So Thank you for those. If you have more questions, email us, give us a call. We're happy to help you guys. So before we continue, I want to remind you that Labor Day is just around the corner. So usually holidays sometimes means there are sales or promotions. So if you haven't already, join our text club. Text the word HEAT to 20198. That way you can be the first to be notified of any sales and promotions because there might be a sale coming up. All right, guys. If you guys haven't already, again, text the word HEAT to 20198. All right. It's my favorite part of this segment, and I'm sure it's your favorite part too. So if you guys weren't here earlier or just tuning in now, there is a giveaway. So it is giveaway time. Before we get into the giveaway, I did mention earlier that someone can win a $50 gift card to our website, heatpressnation.com. But there will actually be two winners again. So one from YouTube, one from Facebook. And how you can win, or how one of you or two of you can be a winner of a $50 gift card to heatpressnation.com is going to be by a trivia question. So before we get started with the trivia question, disclaimer as always, internet speeds are different, so mine's different from yours. So again, I'll be choosing the first question. Actually, pull this iPad back. I'll be choosing the first question that I see correctly on my screen first. And if you are the winner, please email us directly within 7 days to winner@heatpressnation.com. All right, let me get ready. You guys get ready. Give me just a second. All right. Are you guys ready for today's trivia question? I think you guys are. I see in the comments you guys are ready. All right. For today's trivia question, how many transfers are included in the Supacolor Wearable sample pack on heatpressnation.com? All right, give me some more time. Head on over to heatpressnation.com. We're looking for the amount of transfers that are in the Supacolor Wearable sample on heatpressnation.com. Let's see, we have some close ones. All right, Chris Q from YouTube, you are correct. All right, Facebook. Oh, Facebook, you guys are kind of hot and cold everywhere. All right, Facebook, come on, you guys can do it. We're looking for the amount of transfers that are in the Supacolor Wearable sample pack. All right, Elizabeth Kelly from Facebook, you are the winner as well. All right, Chris Q and Elizabeth, you guys are our winners. So make sure to email us within 7 days to winner@heatpressnation.com to claim your prize. All right, guys, it's been another great episode. I had so much fun today. I hope you guys learned a lot of crucial and important information, again, to enhance your photos and your file formats. Follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, @heatpressnation.com. And if you haven't already, join our text club. Text the word HEAT to 20198 for sales and promotions that may be happening soon. My name is Carla, and I'll see you next week for another episode and a giveaway. Bye for now.